Robert Stack,
We lost Joe.
Leonard Nimoy,
Said Robert Stack,
Oh,
and
no.
now it's done.
Frank
Why does this
Welker,
keep happening?
Orson Welles.
Robert Stack's ghost came and took him away. It's an unsolved mystery.
All right, if no one's gonna fawn over their childhood favorite movie anymore, let's move on to things that maybe weren't so great about Space Jam.
Okay. How about a quick segue of just a question of certain how things work in this movie. So the Monstars, they steal the talent of NBA players.
Sure did.
And said talent made them super tall.
Yeah.
Are they saying that the talent is in them being tall? And if that's the case, why didn't the basketball players in real life shrink?
Magic.
I feel like they needed some way to show that the diminutive groundlings, whatever they are before they become the Monstars, have power. So, tripling in size and stature, maybe? I don't know. It is something that has bothered me.
It also, basketball players, like Joe was saying, pretty aggressive on the court. So it seemed like these Monstars became super aggressive. And what's actually kind of fun, I just realized right now, is that the basketball players themselves, not aggressive whatsoever once their talent's gone. Can't even walk around because apparently their talents also in how they walk.
It's all they got, man. It's all they got.
Or drinking water. Apparently all they have is basketball talent.
I mean, the movie could have doubled down even harder on that and, shown Charles Barkley's family leaving him or friends deciding they don't want to hang out anymore.
This is a kid's movie, Joe. A kid's movie.
Patrick Ewing gets served papers for divorce.
Oh, God.
Good Lord.
I mean, Barkley got trashed at a freaking kids basketball game. I mean, that's pretty sad.
Muggsy Bogues gets deported.
He gets deported.
One of them's in therapy.
Yeah.
Sitting there. And, the therapist's like, do you ever feel like you can't perform or something like that?
Is there anything else you don't feel like you can... Yeah.
The guy's like, what? No. So clearly it's just basketball they're having problems with. But it's interesting that they put that in a kid's movie.
There's a lot of adult things in kids' movies.
What?
It's not surprising.
Oh, yeah, no. In Looney Tunes even, going all the way back, always something adult-like in those.
Wow. No one's... That's about it?
What is there to hate about this movie?
I'm not going to say hate, but I'll just bring it up again because it's they only have one young female character for the Looney Tunes side, and that one young female character is the token sexy female character. It's
Yeah.
Is it the Bechdel test that it fails?
It definitely fails the Bechdel test.
well, I mean, if they would have kept it with just Nanny, I can't remember what her name
Granny,
is.
yeah.
Granny. Then that would have passed because Granny doesn't talk about boys or anything.
Unless you're talking about Sylvester, but that's a cat.
Is Tweety female?
I was gonna say Tweety.
I believe Tweety is.
I'm googling Tweety right now to try to figure it out.
Rule 34, be careful.
Yeah, be careful with that, man.
Good Lord.
Oh, okay. Despite the perceptions that many people hold, owing to long eyelashes and high-pitched voice, Tweety is male.
Oh, okay.
Although his ambiguity was played with.
Yeah, I always thought Tweety was male.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just Granny and Lola and...
That's it.
And I guess MJ's wife.
Well, but she's not a Looney Tune. I'm kind of keeping it to the cartoon characters. So they give you the idea that maybe some of those small aliens could be female, but it's never identified. It's never talked about. So to me, they're all genderless. So they don't count. But, they genderized one character to become sex.
Sex symbol. Yep.
And... don't call me babe.
Doll.
Which is all right. That
Doll.
part's fine.
Don't call me doll, and she has
Doll.
excellent basketball playing skills.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the one bad part of oh, she's female, so we need to sexualize this character. They do have two other elements of her being a strong personality and not taking crap from the male characters, and being skilled at something that is seen as not being a skill for females. So,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I think the movie is fine. The music fits. It's not great. I'm not into jock jams, but it fits the movie.
I occasionally get the urge to go back and listen to jock jam style music. It's always a mistake, but I get the urge.
I can see how slam jam could get stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Because that's quite a chorus.
You gotta slam into the jam.
Oh, yes.
All the verses are very forgettable, but that chorus is repeatable and memorable by the DJ City Rollers or whoever that was.
I will say, in that vein, I did listen to the lyrics this time around, and I hated them. Specifically when it got to the, come on, it's time, where the hell is it? I'm looking it up right now. Hey ladies, yeah, y'all ready to stop? No, y'all want to know why? Why? What is that? Because it's a slam jam, fellas.
This is your standard call and response thing present in the early '90s music, which was just awful.
I know, but the structure doesn't make sense. He's asking them a question to which they respond no, and then he's asking them if they know why they don't want to stop. It's like, what the hell?
Why don't you want to stop? I don't know. I just want to keep going, I guess.
It doesn't make sense.
That's when the person on the mic goes, oh, all right, see you later. And then the music just slowly stops.
I'm just going to fade this out real
Let's
quick.
see. We got another 30 seconds left in the song. I'm going to need at least 5 minutes to tell you why I do not want to stop.
Let me begin my essay.
We're going to need a remix for this.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, all the rest, I'm looking at this, and all the rest of the choruses and all the rest of the structure's fine. It talks about, basketball terms and everything else. I mean, I'll forgive the sin of them saying "hoop, there it is" over and over again. But it's just that one. I don't know why. It's just the structure of the question and answers that bothers me for some reason. I'm asking you a question. What's your answer? No. Okay. Well, can I ask you why you said no? No response. Oh, why did we say no? Oh, I'll tell you why you said no. 'Cause it's a slam jam. It just doesn't make sense to me. You don't ask somebody a question. God, it drives me crazy.
And I thought it was going to be Tag Team were tasked with making that song because it sounded just like their style, like with the hoop, there it is. And then I looked it up and it said Quad City DJs, and I was like, okay.
So I decided to see, since we're on the music, to see if having R. Kelly in this movie would be problematic for this purpose of time.
It's interesting.
It's an issue.
It's interesting kicking the movie off with an R. Kelly jam. It's a different feel.
Apparently he was in some lawsuits prior to that, 94 and 96. I didn't realize that right now he's in a trial for sex trafficking and racketeering.
Yeah.
Is this a surprise?
No. However, it's really unfortunate that they had to attach that person to this movie.
I mean, I don't think it had really, set in that R. Kelly was a terrible person, and you were working with Air Jordan, so, I Believe I Could Fly is a fitting song.
Yes.
Unfortunate? Yes. Very unfortunate, because I agree. It is terribly unfortunate, but it's hard to find another explanation for why they picked that song.
Well, according to what I'm seeing, in 1994, R. Kelly, I'll say, came to the scene. In 1994, he married Aaliyah. And then in 1997, she filed suit to have all records of the marriage expunged.
She was 15.
That's not great.
He was 27. She was 15.
Yow.
Falsely listed her age as 18. Yep. Wow, so he was a piece of all the way from the beginning. I mean, I know next to nothing about this guy, so.
Yeah, if you ever decide to do a deep dive, it's pretty much the same. It just keeps going in that direction.
I know some stuff.
A lot of taking girls in, promising to help with their career, and then making them sever ties with family and friends, things like that. Just like
The things that everyone know are the elements of
grooming. Yeah.
Yep. The fact that was like known back in 97 that they falsified a marriage certificate, and he's not in, does he have any charges against him, labeling him like a sexual predator or anything at this point in time?
He kept weaseling his way out, and then there was one point where he actually did get arrested, and then they released him. And then I believe he finally did, and now he is actually going to trial for some things. It's been a little while since I dived down this rabbit hole, but
I mean, again, it just kind of shows that if you have enough money, you can skirt outside the law.
He should have just stayed trapped in the closet. Here you go. Since the 1990s, he's been accused of sexual abuse, misconduct, often with underage girls. All charges he denies. In 2002, he was indicted on 13 counts of child pornography, but was acquitted on all charges in 2008. In January 2019, a widely viewed Lifetime docuseries titled Surviving R. Kelly detailed the allegations of sexual abuse by multiple women. Allegations he denied. Facing pressure from the public, and using the Mute R. Kelly hashtag, RCA Records finally dropped R. Kelly in 2019. On February 22nd, 2019, Kelly was indicted on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. On July 11th, 2019, Kelly was arrested on federal charges alleging sex crimes, human trafficking, child pornography, racketeering, and obstruction of justice. He faces a total of 22 federal counts, including child pornography, kidnapping, forced labor, as of January 29th, 2021. He is currently incarcerated, so he finally is in jail in some capacity.
So ultimately, the only problem I have with this movie is that this person is attached.
Is attached to it, yeah. Yep.
And Wayne Knight not being a very good promoter, and for some reason him being put on it. Also, did you notice that MJ lived in a very
museum-esque house?
I would say very, in the neighborhood, nothing to keep him away from fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just walk up and knock on his door kind of thing.
No, definitely.
normal. Still upper class normal, but still, it was a very normal house. Not exactly what you'd expect for MJ. So, as I was watching it as a kid, I was like, oh, maybe MJ does live in, a normal house. But no.
This was pre Michael Jordan becoming a massive asshole that everybody knows him to be now. He is just a complete and utter piece of shit from what I've heard from all reports. People who have either had dinner with him, people who have waited on him as, a restaurant, a worker capacity, even other celebrities, other basketball players. He pretty much is, the most smug human being that you'll ever meet in your life if you ever run into him.
Huh.
It was really heartbreaking to hear that, but it's really, really, honestly... Yeah.
Did they detail that in the recent documentary that they released about him on Netflix? I didn't watch it.
No, I don't recall that. It's just echoes of people constantly bringing stuff up for the last decade or decade and a half on the internet, and just anybody in general who's had any kind of experience with Michael Jordan pretty much agrees on the same things. I don't know when that changed, but he eventually just got to this point where he just became this massive asshole about his ego.
With the invention of the internet, where people can make up whatever they want. Don't believe what you read, unless it's everyone.
I don't know.
Oh wait, it is everyone. Okay.
I've never met the man, so I have no opinion on his personality.
In one instance, rapper Chamillionaire had the opportunity to meet Michael Jordan, who was his hero. He asked MJ for a picture with him, and Michael Jordan brushed him off, but then also cursed him out and said, "You know what? I tell you what, if you pay me $15,000 right now for a jersey from me, I'll take a picture with you."
Jeez.
So that's one instance. He's kicked out of a country club because they asked him to change his wardrobe to be in line with the country club's guidelines, and he said no, so they kicked him off. He's banned from playing golf in that place. He punched Steve Kerr in the face. He had a Hall of Fame speech in which he pretty much just talked about how he carried himself to the point where he was inducted.
I thought it was his dad.
In this movie, it made you think that, right?
Right?
You'd think.
I was waiting for, because he made the agreement, you can keep shooting until you miss, and then, days would go by of them just standing in the yard of him shooting buckets, and, they're slowly getting more and more ill from not eating or drinking water.
And he just stops everything with just a "God damn, son, just put the ball down." Something along those lines.
Stabs the basketball with a knife. We're done.
That would be amazing. A completely different movie, but I would love to see that.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, you saw the reboot. How does that fare against the classic Space Jam?
Yeah, it shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have happened. They should have left well enough alone. It felt like they took the entire premise of Space Jam and ported it over to New Legacy and put a shiny little veneer over the top of it to be like, this is a totally different movie.
Yeah.
But it's not, and it's not nearly as good. There's some funny parts in New Legacy that I definitely laughed
Like Big Chungus?
about.
Not Big Chungus? Wow. I think the biggest detractor I heard from just the one or two reviews that I read so far is that it doesn't really feel like the characters have screen time because it's Bugs Bunny basically with Charles Barkley taking all the Looney Tunes back to where they should be or something like that. It's one by one they're going to a sight gag and plopping a character back in essentially.
LeBron James, but yes.
Or sorry, yeah, LeBron James. But yeah, that's kind of what I heard. So it's they never really get a chance to become part of the cast or have their time to shine because it's just kind of akin to flying through YouTube's greatest hits and putting each YouTuber back in their spot and having them say their saying and moving on.
Pretty much.
I don't know. I heard there's no real chemistry between the two either, Bugs Bunny and James. So
it doesn't help that I'm not a fan of James. So
yeah, and neither is the director, James Pitka, or is that his name? Yeah. James or Mike Pitka?
James. The director really he lambasted New Legacy.
Yeah. He was very unhappy that they... Oh, Joe Pitka. He was very, very unhappy that they even remotely made a sequel, let alone the fact that they thought that they could do anything that wasn't already said, because in his mind, Michael Jordan was the top of the top. He was lightning in a bottle, and he actually went on to quote that LeBron James is no Michael Jordan, so...
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, there weren't a lot of big name basketball stars when Jordan was around for basketball.
What?
Not at Jordan's caliber.
Yeah, because no one
of being
was.
A basketball player and an actor, and that's what made OG Space Jam so good. That being said, had they picked another basketball player to take Jordan's position in the new movie, there isn't a basketball star today other than James.
The Greek Freak.
He's too new.
Yes.
Giannis is too new.
They actually no. In trivia for the new movie, they actually did offer him the leading role, and he turned it down.
Wow.
Would have been kind of cool to see Milwaukee Bucks representation, but no, he turned it down apparently.
Good for him.
Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis was offered to star in the film, but he declined.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
it doesn't necessarily mean he was going to be the main person. Maybe they were originally having an idea of the stolen talent idea again.
Well,
because they use that same idea in New Legacy. They steal stats from players, not actual players, but
they use the gotcha system and pull cards from the EA servers to enhance their players' stats.
Ooh.
Gotcha. Of course, all they ever get is mustaches.
Yes.
a unibrow.
I hate this gotcha system.
I guess, how do you guys feel about this? Apparently Warner Brothers had ideas as well for Skate Jam, Golf Jam, and Race Jam, but they are all discarded in favor of this film.
I mean,
I wouldn't kick them out of bed because they're dumb enough ideas that someone would be able to do something with them that would be entertaining. Not so much Skate Jam.
I disagree.
But Race Jam? I'd be interested in Race Jam.
What kind of racing are we talking about? Running? Because that's...
Is Space Jam for NASCAR?
Exactly. Now hear me out.
Ricky Bobby?
NASCAR sucks. They just drive in a circle and maybe there's a crash.
Alienating the fans. Oh boy.
So Jeff Gordon quits racing because he wants to run or something stupid like that.
No. He quits racing because it's not a challenge anymore. It's too easy to go in circles. So then some cartoon character's like, "Whoa, you don't think racing in an oval is challenging anymore, do you? Well, let's make it a little harder."
Racetracks a la Speed Racer?
No. Oh my god. you have basketball with Michael Jordan at the top of his game, leaving because he accomplished everything he could, and then the Looney Tunes come along because some alien cartoons are trying to take them away. So it's cartoons mixed with that, right? It makes the basketball goofy.
Yeah.
$1 million idea here. 2 franchises colliding. You got NASCAR. You got somebody walking around, a big star from NASCAR leaving because it's just not entertaining to drive in a circle anymore, like you said.
Danica Patrick.
Nintendo comes along. The characters from Nintendo for some reason, and it becomes a Mario Kart race.
Oh.
So then Jeff Gordon has to take everything he's learned, or whoever else has to take whatever they've learned from racing through all the years, and also apply the wacky antics of banana tossing and shells and everything else.
Damn it, I'm in.
I
It took
think I
far
like
too
this.
long, but God damn it, I would watch that.
And that's where the aliens come in. They don't know how to race cars. They just know how to do whatever they do, like Goombas or whatever. And then they steal powers from like Bobby Labonte and like Rusty Wallace. and you cut to them. You cut to them like driving golf carts around, hitting trees, and not being able to like. They can't even do go karts because they just lost their ability.
I'd also like to see one alien take from an F1 racer,
Yeah.
and then that one has the problem where it doesn't want to just turn in one direction; it wants to turn in all the directions, and that causes like he can't race because he's trying to do all these other things. I would be like, that would be a good joke.
Oh
But
my god, this is amazing.
obviously, it needs to be workshopped.
This is amazing.
I see.
This is amazing.
I told you this one would work.
Just not with Looney Tunes, but in the Mario universe with Mario Kart.
Yes. Oh my
Done.
god.
See?
Can we get Bob Haskins back?
He's dead, Ken.
Can we bring him back for this?
We can make him into a hologram, right? Right? We have deep fakes.
Well, if that was going to be the technology they decided to use for Space Jam, why didn't they just go with Kobe Bryant for this movie?
I don't think the Kobe estate would have done it.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, they had Kobe not passed away. I bet you he would have taken the position, and the movie probably would have been better.
I would agree. He had more personality, charisma.
I know nothing about him.
He just seemed like
They
he had
both
more
played
charisma.
basketball.
He's less self-absorbed than LeBron is. I don't like him.
I don't know
as a
anything
person.
about him, but I've heard so many stories
He's
about him
just-
being self-absorbed. So I know that at least.
It's so bad. I mean, he gave himself his moniker of King James.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Question for you, Dan: was Wayne Knight in the sequel?
I don't think so.
Was Bill Murray?
I don't
Bobby
remember him
Knight
being-
in the sequel.
Bobby Knight. I wish they'd put Bobby Knight in there.
Constantly throwing chairs. But he's like... I don't know if Bobby Knight's still alive. God damn it.
It just.
Bobby Knight should have been in the WWE. Just the manager of that.
I'm concerned looking at the cast list for the new Legacy, as
Oh, thank God he's still alive.
I'm not really seeing like any surprises in it or anything, so it just feels like it's a straight-laced movie of just point A to point B, like no fun side characters, no fun like celebrity cameos or anything like that. That's
There is one celebrity cameo. It's let me get you guys the clip for it. If you see on the cast list Michael B. Jordan.
yes.
Oh, I heard about that.
I did hear
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Which is a reasonable joke. That's not too terrible.
No, that's a good joke.
It's disappointing. If you're expecting, like, you would think that they would pull the Michael Jordan and not Michael B. Jordan.
not that one.
In to be the cameo that they used him for. It would have felt better instead of just being a flop of a joke.
Well, I'd have to see the joke to know if it's a flop of a
Give
joke.
me a second.
But I think the idea of being like, hey, we got Michael Jordan, and it's instead Michael B. Jordan.
That's what it is.
That's kind of funny.
That is kind of funny. I
Kind
like
of,
that.
yeah, kind of not.
Dan doesn't get humor.
No.
Sorry.
It's just his own brand. He told me that he thinks Looney Tunes Back in Action is one of his favorite movies.
That's a movie that exists.
I've never said that once. Never once.
That's a lie.
What about the emo Looney Tunes?
So the
Emo Phillips Looney Tunes?
I'm trying to figure out what they were. They were around in like the late 90s or early 2000s or something.
My guess would be
like
early
the Dark
thousands.
Tunes or whatever they were.
Something like that.
They were like space-based,
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
like
Yeah.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Lunatics Unleashed.
Yeah, the
Lunatics.
lunatics.
Where Bugs had like the really sharp design.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, screw this thing.
and Lola Bunny's in there, and she's showing off cleavage, apparently. What the hell is that?
What?
Oh my.
Maybe this is fan art. I'm going to hope that's fan art. Okay,
no.
good. The official one wait a minute. Maybe that's fan art. I don't know what's fan art and what's not anymore.
What is this? Okay, I do have to mention that. I do have to make a comment on that. I feel like this. Oh no. Oh no.
Not official. That's not official.
Okay, I found the clip.
I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but it's totally wasted. Like, they could have brought Jordan. They could have done something to get Jordan, but Jordan refused to do it because he didn't want to work with with LeBron James.
Oh, I'm not surprised, but
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm also gonna say I see I see the 3D animated stuff, and
Not a fan.
I don't really hate it. It looks okay. It still kind of has the vibe of the classic look. I'd have to watch more of it to know if I'm okay
It's
with
distracting. Like, I don't like what they did with the designs for everybody. Rothu, you got to stop with the R34 Lola Bunny posts in the text chat now. You really gotta. Yeah, I didn't
realize how many
lost my train of thought at this point.
I was gonna
Don't
actually ask you
do
about that, Dan. I was actually gonna ask you about how the flip flop of things worked out in the new one, with LeBron being animated versus being, just himself with the animated characters.
It was weird. Like, I don't know how to feel. Like, I like the idea of cartoonifying somebody, but they don't give a good reason to cartoonify him when in the original Space Jam, Michael Jordan could just do things like a cartoon even though he was real because he was in Toon World. And in New Legacy, LeBron James is taken to Toon World, and Bugs is the only character left because WB has pulled all of the characters out of Toon World into their serververse. So they're digitized and stuff now.
Huh. So there's no more risk of falling down a golf hole into Looney Tuneville?
No.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. They move the entirety of Toon World into the internet instead of being parallel to the real people universe.
So they took this
like it was in.
Yeah, so they took this thing that didn't exist, that existed, and then they made it not exist outside of existence. Essentially, some weird way. Okay.
They retconned where the tunes live.
Just for the sake of making it new and edgy, because it's got to be technology centered.
Yeah.
They can't live in a hole in the ground anymore. They have to live on some weird digital landscape.
I don't know. I'm not going to rush to see it.
But you better. It's off of HBO Max in 7 days, 8 days. It's going away.
I mean,
if I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah. It's not a go out and see it. We had time after packing before leaving because our flight out of Seattle was super early in the morning, or not out of Seattle, out of Milwaukee to Seattle was super early in the morning, so we didn't really sleep. That I quick threw it on and we watched it.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else to do, because going to sleep was a bad idea.
I guess that brings up my last question. So, Looney Tunes, as an IP for the original Space Jam, it had been a while since there's some newer material. Yes, you did have Tiny Toon Adventures and things like that going on, but it was still enough of a stretch, or close enough, I guess, for parents to be like, "Oh yeah, I love these characters," and get their kids to go see Space Jam and reinvigorate that again. How do you guys feel about reintroducing Looney Tunes now, when it's so much further removed and it hasn't been on TV? Kids don't watch cartoons really on TV at this point, outside of streaming platforms and things.
The movie feels like a cash grab.
Does anyone even remember Looney Tunes?
Unabashedly.
I don't think you're supposed to watch this because you like Looney Tunes. You're supposed to watch this because as a child, you watched the first Space Jam, and now you're an adult and a parent, and you are going to take your children to the new Space Jam.
Yep.
That's all I can think of.
That's exactly what this movie is.
Well, I guess my other question is, do you guys feel like the first movie was directly responsible for the horrible 90s to 2000s trends of t-shirts of, like, Tweety saying back off and things like that? Like, just, like, the Minions craze, essentially.
That was
in early...
before this.
I forgot about that.
How could you? The t-shirts, the tattoos, the everything. The everything. It was the Minions before Minions became a thing. Now Minions are on everything that has those quotes. Now you have quotes of, like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best, with a minion blushing or something. Like, it's just
nonsense.
It's like come full circle. It used to be Tweety, and now it's a minion, and it's who knows what's going to be next.
A squirrel.
Squirrel.
No, there was a squirrel. That was from Ice Age.
Yeah, that works.
Scrat never said that.
Oh my god. Last one. I just closed the browser. I can't handle any more of this, but I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to leave you guys with that.
Oh God!
See, I clicked off that tab, so I don't have to look at this stuff anymore.
I was trying really hard to not swear, Rothy. I was trying really hard. Ugh.
Since you originally watched Space Jam to now watching it this time around, has your feelings about the movie changed?
No, it's still an entertaining movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like there are scenes that I had forgotten about that made me laugh.
Yeah, I had completely forgotten about the intro of the movie where Child Michael is shooting baskets. It started off as like, oh, that's right. This is how this movie starts.
Yeah, I remembered that. It's for me. I hadn't watched this movie in so long. I forgot Bill Murray was in it. I remember Wayne Knight's in it, but I forgot Bill Murray was in the film. So for me, it was like a little like, oh yeah, that's right. And I got excited all over again. But I don't like I do feel the pacing is awkward. Like Ken was saying earlier, it's just like
yeah, it is a little awkward.
It's like, hey, we're practicing basketball for the first time. Go get my shoes and shorts. Okay, cool. Here's your shoes and shorts. Next thing, hard cut to a bunch of people in line driving to a stadium, and the game's already on. It's like, what?
And you're like, are all these people here just to watch them practice basketball?
Nope.
That's so weird.
You'll have to watch New Legacy because it's pretty jarring.
And then the tunes, they get beat up. Then they actually learn how they actually do their own sort of beating up, and then they get beat up again because they forget how to Looney Tune again. It's just all over the place in that actual basketball game. However, watching it as a child, great, a lot of fun. Watching it as an adult, I still had a good time watching this movie. It's just a few more things resonated weird with me this time around.
Yeah, I caught some things that I never did catch before, or things that were funny as an adult that weren't funny as a kid, or just didn't register as a joke as a kid. And then vice versa. Some things I thought were funny as a kid, I didn't laugh at now, but yeah, overall, it's still stuck.
How about you, Joe? How did you feel about your first time watching this movie?
Having thought that it was not going to be anything I'd be entertained by and just skipping it, and then watching it now, I give it a passable grade. It's not something that I was so bored I shut it off or anything. It wasn't something that I'm, rolling around and feeling my life has changed after watching it, but I chuckled. The price was right to rent it. I mean, it was okay. I give it. It's an okay movie.
It's a good descriptor, Joe. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that works. Coming from somebody who like grew up with it, and then having Joe who's never seen it up until this point, there's no nostalgia tied to the movie for him at all. So that works.
It's definitely different walks of life. I had the poster of the split face, Bugs on the left and Jordan on the right, Space Jam poster on my...
Yep.
Yeah, I had that on my door for the longest time growing up. Like, it's just... To hear people who hadn't seen it, it just feels so otherworldly to me. It's like, what? You've never seen Space Jam? So it's fun. It's fun getting into this.
Around this time in my life, I was watching The State on MTV, and that was my comedy well that I was drinking from on a daily or weekly basis.
Oh, okay.
I was in a different place.
Absolutely.
Different place.
But yeah, do you think this movie can survive today without nostalgia, or do you think it's dependent on nostalgia for being...
We just asked you that, Joe.
Compared to New Legacy, yes. Because New Legacy does it so poorly.
Yeah. I think the hard part specifically is the hype. When we were kids and this came out, Michael Jordan was in his absolute prime. It was like that was the big draw to the movie. It's like, holy shit, Michael Jordan's in a movie with Looney Tunes. That's crazy. We gotta go see it. Coming back, 30 years later now? Almost?
Oh, no.
Almost 30 years later and being like...
Can we call it 25 years later?
Yeah, let's just do that. Yeah. But no, coming back almost that long, and you almost have to tell kids why Michael Jordan is so famous. You almost have to, like, fill them in as to who Michael Jordan even is. Because he's not around, he's not doing anything, unless they hear from other people. His shoes, sure, but...
I think that's about all people have to reference him by these days.
Yeah, so it's not like this massive cultural thing. It was a massive storm when the movie came out, because obviously everything was happening at that time. Now coming to it, that far away from it, that far removed, having to explain the entire, essentially, background of the characters that are in it and the actors that are in it, it's a little rough. Other than that, I think the movie does stand on its own. It's just the only confusing thing I could see is kids being like, who's Michael Jordan?
It's so weird thinking people saying that.
Yeah, it is. It is weird.
It's a good thing that they start off the movie with a montage of who Michael Jordan is.
That is well done. Yeah, so right off the bat, you get the sense that he's a really, really good basketball player. It's just he's not dominating newspapers and headlines, and not everybody in the schools are talking about him or wearing T-shirts with him or wearing bowl shirts and stuff like that on a daily basis.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so it's not like you're surrounded by this massive mega cultural icon, and all of a sudden poof, he's in a movie. It's like, who was that guy?
Well, that was the issue that I had with picking LeBron. Like, he's not an icon.
To you.
Yeah, I know him by name.
He's just...
I know he's a big basketball player, and a lot of people really enjoy him, but I don't know, it's not the same.
And I think someone who's used to movies coming out today could watch Space Jam, the original one, 1996, without feeling like it's too dated. I think it looks pretty good I believe I watched it in HD. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. So I think it holds up for visuals, and I think the Looney Tunes maybe are not as popular as they used to be, but are still known enough to be a thing. Like I said, I don't think it's going to blow anyone's mind, but I think it can survive on its own without nostalgia. It just won't be as exciting for the new viewers than it is for the people who had it as a child. That nostalgia is really... This is one of those, from everyone who I've heard that loves Space Jam, it's because they saw it as a kid.
Yeah, I'd say that's a very fair assessment.
And I definitely have my movies that I love that are not good or anything like that. But since I saw them as a kid, they're in.
Yup, same here.
I'm dead.
Same here. I was just thinking about this the other day when I went to go watch Congo for the first time in like 2 years, 3 years. I love Congo. I grew up with Congo. I was thinking to myself, man, I can't wait. I hope we get to get into the 90s a little bit more and hit up Congo. So, it's coming. Actually, hey, Space Jam was 95. Congo's 95.
96.
Congo's 96? Oh, man.
No, Space Jam's 96.
So I have to say, we broke our soft barrier for movies for Space Jam.
Ooh, we blew right past Jurassic Park.
We broke that membrane to get to this one.
Oh, no.
We broke the soft barrier. Does that mean we can start creeping past 94, 95? I don't know, but we'll have possibilities.
It'll happen eventually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, the movies that we have to look forward to recording, we have Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Yay!
Because Afterlife is coming out.
That is
we
true.
Have Dune, because Dune's coming out in December.
Yep.
What else? I just had the same thought process, and there was a third movie that I was thinking of putting.
Oh, there's a new Land Before Time movie coming out, so we could watch all the Land Before Times and get caught up.
I don't have that kind of time.
Oh, just one of them. 12 movies worth of Land Before Time or something.
Oh no, they're past that
I think
now.
it's
Yeah,
17.
I think this is the 18th movie coming out or something like that.
Good lord.
I'm looking it up.
They're all short of Ducky.
Okay, this is the first time I've ever seen this. For a movie on Wikipedia, there is a spreadsheet of the list of films.
Oh.
I see that for episodes, for shows and stuff, but never for a movie franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently there's only 14.
14 movies. That's just wow.
Wasn't far off. I'm kind of surprised.
Closest without going over, I guess.
Supposedly there was another one though. There was a 15th called something along the lines of Journey to Sharptooth Mountain or something like that. So it was in production or something along those lines. So supposedly it's coming, but That is one franchise that will probably never die.
When are we doing our next one?
The Newsies.
Oh, God. See, it sounds like grade school.
Never seen Newsies.
I haven't seen that since, like, earlier this year.
Well, that was... what did we watch? Space Jam! Shoved through a membrane... Wait, I did that the first time.
Balled up and slammed through a hoop.
There we go.
Took those Monstars to the court and drove them to the hole and slammed the rock and won the game.
We stretched our arm out all cartoony and slammed a rock.
Oh, Space Jam. So, come back in 2 weeks when we rewind the movie, the 25th anniversary, apparently. Of 35th anniversary of the movie, The Transformers, the movie. So come back when we rewind again.
Did they make that noise in the original?
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Awesome.
They were all